Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I want to talk about paranoble activity. I want to talk about dun 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 dun. Operation Freedom Flip. All right, so you and I are now engaged in one of the most fascinating, one of the most interesting, one of the most human benefiting activities that has ever happened. And what is that? Right? Operation Freedom Flip. So from 2016 to 2020, America had a true villain, a true super villain as a president. We never saw anything like that before. Donald Trump is a horrible, evil human being. Horrible, evil human being. Come on, like you're like, I don't know, Scott. He has three wives. This is on public record that the third wife, while she was pregnant, he was with another woman. That's like public record. That like is openly, and he's so villainous. He did such a he did these actions and they did such a bad job hiding them that like there's been have you guys seen these stories that Melania doesn't want to spend any time with him? Of course she doesn't want to spend any time with him. He's a monstrous human being. Not even this guy's wife wants to spend 1 minute with him. He's evil to the core, right? But he was our president. Why? Well, it's very simple. It's the economy. He makes the economy go burr, right? And the reason why I oppose him is he's a hyper prejudice. He is a hatred and prejudice multiplier. He's a times X for America's hatred and America's prejudice. He's just a horrible human being, right? But we are now doing something incredibly beneficial to all of humanity. What is that? Operation Freedom Flip. We can use President Donald Trump like a paper cup to get the best American president we've ever had. Vivek Ramaswamy is charismatic, confident, intelligent, brilliant, wonderful American, a kind, tolerant person, super intelligent, super awesome policies, everything we need to be an amazing nation. Let's make America amazing, right? Make America amazing. Oh yeah, right? So, and Vivek can do that. He can do that, right? But what's really wild is, so the reason we're talking today, and I appreciate your patience. I should have said this at the beginning. I always try to say what the video's about at the beginning. We're talking today because at church, a gentleman, came up to me. He goes, "Hey, you guys done?" And I'm like, "No, we're not even remotely done. We just started." He's like, "What are you talking about? Your guy dropped out." And I'm like, "Yeah, now the real work starts, right?" Like, we have a very clear path, and actually a better probability path to make Vivek Ramaswamy the U.S. president right now than we did when he was running under the Republican running in the Republican Party, right? Like, we have a fantastic path to the presidency right now, right? And so I get where he's like, "What do you mean?" And so I explained it to him, and I'm going to break it down for you here, right? So Vivek Ramaswamy, he did the right thing. He campaigned. What we know now is that Donald Trump not only is a hatred, prejudice multiplier for America, but the macro level Republican, the 51% Republican, is a hyper prejudice hater, a hyper prejudice person who hates anyone who is not of their own skin, right? Like, who doesn't have the same color as their own skin. The way we know this is the Democrats can say we are kind, tolerant, inclusive people. You know why? They elected a person of color. The Republicans have never done it and refused to do it. They just refused a candidate that outperforms Donald Trump in every possible metric, right? Able to jump over microphone wires. Probably will not die during his term. It's almost it's a certainty, in my humble opinion, that that Donald Trump will absolutely die of old age, during his term. And the reason why is he's under absolutely immense, incredibly specific pressure, right? Like, it's just, he's done so much evil in his life. Everybody's coming for him. for his governmental action and for his civilian action. They want to put him in prison. That is incredibly, that would be stressful if you were just a regular person. If you're 80 years old, that'll stop your heart from ticking, right? Like, how do we know this? Because Bernie Sanders had a heart attack just trying to run for president. Can you imagine being an 80-year-old president with the stressors that Donald Trump, there's no question in my mind, it will kill him. It will kill him, right? Bill Maher said, we've reached a point where both parties are waiting for their candidates to die. I think Bill Maher's 100% correct. I think that's a harsh thing to say, but the reality of it, the truth of it, in my humble opinion, that is dead on correct, right? But we've reached a point where both parties, the people who constitute the party, not the party leadership, they are very, very much waiting for a candidate to die so they can get a real candidate, so they don't have to have a hospice leader, right? I'm telling you, we are in a point in American history that we have never been before. We have never been in a position before where both parties, the vast majority of their members, are waiting for the candidates to die so they can get a real candidate. That's astounding. That is absolutely astounding, right? Like, it's just, Bill Maher said the quiet part loud, and I think he was 100% true, in my humble opinion, right? The Republicans are like, oh man, it'd kind of be, yeah, I guess that, kind of waiting around for that to happen, right? Like, because it would be nice to have like a real candidate who could actually rule or like live through their term. Like, like, be really nice to have a president, be confident that I have a president, that I wake up in the morning and I have a president who could speak a sentence, like literally get through a sentence, right? Biden can't do that anymore. No, like you'd have to take a Vegas line on it, right? And I know which side you take, that it don't make it through. Right? Like you can take a Vegas line literally on every sentence of every speech, of whether he gets in through without a gaffe or without just flat out forgetting where he is or who he is. Right? We are in an incredible point in American history, right? So Vivek Ramaswamy did what he should. He ran as hard as he could. He did the best he could to run as a candidate. That didn't work. He spent $17 million. The Republicans are like, hey, let me assure you, I'm a hyper-prejudice hater. I'm a hyper-prejudice person who hates anyone whose skin is not the color of my own, right? So that's where we landed, right? But get this. Getting America to not be hyper-prejudiced and love people who are the same color or a different color than them, that's hard. You know what's easy? Getting Donald Trump to make one decision in the right direction. That's all we got to do now. Our path to the presidency has become incredibly simple, right? All we have to do to make sure Vivek Ramaswamy is president is get Donald Trump elected. Then Donald Trump will die from old age or be imprisoned or figure out that there's no need for him to be president and literally give it to Vivek Ramaswamy. Just say, I decided to no longer be president. I am, abdicating the throne. Here's your new president. His name is Vivek Ramaswamy. You know what he's been saying since day one? That he would pardon me for everything. And that's what I actually needed the presidency for. And that's another thing. Is I don't believe that Donald Trump actually wants to be president. I think he wants to secure his pardon, right? And frankly, I'm cool with that. Right? If we get the best president ever through it's by using Donald Trump as a paper cup, bring it. I'm all in. Love it. Right? Like, and so I appreciate you, hearing me out on this. And I'm kind of talking through this with you because I've covered the same content on a different video, right? But I'm talking this through with you because this is real time. Like, I've never seen anything like this. We really are in real time, like, figuring out something really unique. Oh, and I do want to, and so I'm kind of talking through this with you because in reality, what do we do for Vivek right now? We have to say his name everywhere. We have to say his name everywhere that is appropriate, right? So one, you absolutely should be saying his name. If you have a YouTube channel, you should absolutely be using. If you have social media, you should politely, kindly, wonderfully spread Vivek's name everywhere, because nothing is more powerful in American politics than name recognition, right? And and Donald Trump still understands politics right now, right? On like 2 hours a day. I'm sure he forgets it the rest of the day because he's 80, right? But we're close to 80. And or he'll be our second 80-year-old president. He'll be our second hospice leader, right? Like, and honestly, we do not need a second hospice leader. I think we all kind of like, oh yeah, this is horrible. Like, we don't need a second hospice leader. The other thing that I want to talk about is this is noble work. Okay, I have to remind you guys, this is the most noble thing you can do, right? Is to use Donald Trump as a paper cup to deliver the real president, Vivek Ramaswamy. And the reason why is we can't do this with money. We have to do this with celebrity, with charm, with wit, with winsomeness. We have to tell people, listen, Donald Trump has to choose Vivek Ramaswamy as his vice president choice. And I also want to say this here right now. I don't know if you guys know this. Money is no longer the actual source of power in America. Celebrity is the source of power. Scott, what are you talking about there? I'll explain it in like 2 sentences. Will Smith walked up on stage, slapped Chris Rock in the face. By any definition, in my humble opinion, that's a crime. He committed a crime in front of 100 people, all who are millionaires. And then he's like, hey, let's go party. You could not, and then they did. They danced with him and partied with him. You couldn't buy that for any price. You could not buy that with money. Celebrity is more powerful than money. And guess what? Right? If you get, like, I have celebrity. I have nano celebrity. I'm not even a micro celebrity. I'm a nano celebrity. I'm saying right now, I know some unusual people in politics listen to my channel. If you have any connection to Donald Trump, please do anything and everything you can that is legal and appropriate, legal and moral, to convince Donald Trump to choose Vivek Ramaswamy as president. And all of you out there, right? I got 2,600 people who listen to this channel, right? If you have any path to help in any way to get Vivek Ramaswamy chosen as Donald Trump's vice president, take the action now. I'm begging you, right? This is for the fate of humanity. This is for the fate of humanity. If President Biden gets in, there's almost a certainty. I am certain some tin politicators are going to let the NW's arc. This is for the fate of humanity. We have got to get this done. We must use Donald Trump as a paper cup to deliver the cool drink, the mango lemonade that is Vivek Ramaswamy. We've got to get it there. This has to happen, right? Because this is our only path to a world that isn't filled with hate, that would be under Donald Trump, or filled with war, and that would be under Biden. We're already dollars on the ground in 2 wars, right? If Biden's cowardice is allowed to rule America for another 4 years, that guarantees at least 2 more wars. And I don't think that's going to end without the NW's arcing. So this is for all the marbles. Please, please, please carry Vivek Ramaswamy's banner right now. Do everything you can that is legal and moral to get Vivek Ramaswamy in. And if you have any ideas for getting Donald Trump to choose Vivek Ramaswamy as his VP so that we can use Donald Trump as a paper cup, please, please, please put it in the comments. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.